Hello. Happy Friday. Yay, it's the weekend. It felt like a long week to me. I felt like on Tuesday it should have been Friday. So, hooray, it's finally Friday. I want to do a video today about mental hunger. So, if you're somebody listening to this and even just the thought or the idea of having downtime or free time, if that freaks you out and makes you feel really anxious, it's likely you have mental hunger. It's likely that you're really hungry and you're terrified of giving yourself enough time and space to realize how hungry you are. So a lot of times I'll start working with a client and they're like, I don't really feel like I have that much mental hunger, like maybe some. And then they stop all the exercise and the lower level movement and they start kind of really focusing in on recovery. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, since I started recovery, I'm so hungry. Like I cannot stop thinking about food. My mental hunger is through the roof. And the reason for that is because prior to recovery, you became a master at distracting yourself, of keeping yourself busy. How often do you sit around and not have anything that you have to do and feel like you're relaxing and actually enjoy it? When I have free time now or downtime, like I genuinely get excited. Before, I was like, oh, heck no. Oh, no. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And even more so, it would be in between when I was allowed to eat. So in between my meals, I would have to come up with a plan of what I was going to do to get me until to get me through this period of time that I felt that I had to have before I could eat again. That is totally mental hunger. I used to say that I was like the busiest, unproductive person you've ever met. Because going to 7 different grocery stores to find the perfect product of whatever it is that you have to have, and then that grocery store has that and that, doing that's really unproductive. It's not very efficient. But I did that because if I didn't do that, then I might have been home with nothing to do. And then I would have felt hungry and then I would have wanted to eat. And so if you're experiencing this struggle with trying to fill your day up, with trying to stay distracted, or feeling just unsettled when you have downtime, I want you to force yourself to create that downtime, to stop planning X, Y, and Z and all these ridiculous things that you feel like you have to do in between meals or in between a snack and a meal or whatever it is to try to kill time. I remember like if something ended early, whatever it might be, and I had it planned. Let's say I had something planned from 2 to 4, and let's say it got out at 3. It would freak the crap out of me because I didn't know what I was going to do for that next hour. I was planning on being, in this event or in a meeting or something from 2 to 4, and now what? Now what am I going to do? I particularly remember this in college. If a class ended early, like most college students, or any student, if a class ends early, you're like, sweet, we got out early. For me, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. Crap. Now I've got an hour and a half before dinner instead of just a half hour. And my brain would go crazy. I didn't ever realize at the time how incredibly mentally hungry I was. And the answer to this problem is eat. If you're mentally hungry, you have to eat. If you cannot make any sense as to why you should eat, on paper, it doesn't make any sense. I just ate. I've gained X amount of weight. I've been in recovery for this many months. I, am going to be eating in 10 minutes. Whatever all these reasons you might come up with makes no sense at all. And you're still mentally hungry. You still have to eat. It doesn't matter. You don't have to make sense of your mental hunger. You don't make sense of your physical hunger. You could have just eaten a large meal and still feel physically hungry. And there's nothing wrong with that either. It just means your body needs more food. Once your body doesn't need that much food and it doesn't need to be thinking about food 24/7, it's going to stop thinking about food 24/7. And that's going to naturally happen. That's not something that you can really accelerate or make go faster. Even if you're listening to your mental hunger 100% of the time, that's all you can do. You can't make your mental hunger go away in a week just because you're eating so much food. It's going to take longer than that. Sometimes people get impatient in recovery and say, I've been doing this for 8 months and, it's like, I still have this raging mental hunger. Okay, first of all, 8 months in recovery, yeah, that's great, but like, it's not unlikely. It'd be weird if you didn't still have a lot of mental hunger. 1, and 2, have you been consistently in recovery? Usually after I ask that question, the answer is, well, I had this one slip up and I kind of backed off for a few weeks. And then I started back up for a few months. And then I had this vacation that I went on and it took me a while to kind of get back on track. And it's like, in 8 years, you're still going to have mental hunger. You have to be consistent. You have to be consistent with listening to it. And I really mean this, and I can say this with so much confidence, that if you listen to that mental hunger and you stop questioning it and you stop judging it and you stop trying to run away from it, it will go down. And you will rewire your brain in the process of listening to that mental hunger, because that hunger is asking you for foods that freak the living crap out of you, right? So it's a win-win. You're rewiring and you're rehabilitating. And you're getting that mental hunger to come down so that you feel more like a normal person and not so crazy around food and not so obsessed with thinking about it 24/7. So I always say this to my clients, and I mean, it is so true. You cannot run away from your mental hunger. Okay? You can try to run, but you cannot hide. It will always find you. It will not go away. No matter how much you busy yourself and distract yourself and you think you're suppressing it, at some point, if you want to recover, you're going to have to respond to that. So may as well do it now. So going into this weekend, if you're thinking about, what am I going to do this weekend? Oh my gosh, weekends were harder for me because I didn't have, a normal schedule. It was all of a sudden like all this free time and we didn't really have anything on the agenda, and it would just terrify me. I'd feel so anxious. Where most people could relax on the weekend, for me that was like high stress time. So if you're going into the weekend feeling that way, thinking I've got to book this and do that and schedule this and have something planned, just don't. Clear your schedule and sit down on the couch and let your brain go to food, and then get up and go and get the food and eat it, and then do it again and eat it. And you may find, you likely will, you'll surprise yourself with how incredibly hungry you are. Okay, hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Bye.